Hello students, in this lesson let us study about the factors affecting the airport site selection. So there are many factors, we will deal with each one of them in detail. The selection of site for new airports has to be based on certain criteria which will serve as a guide for the determination of its proper location and size. So the same consideration will also be applicable in case of expansion of the existing airport also, right? So what will happen? We need to get necessary data and details and study from the point of view of airport survey before even selecting the site or considering the site for selection. Okay, so as I told, there are many factors. So you can see on the screen that there are around 12 factors which will affect the airport site selection, right? So these are the 12 one. So the first one is your atmospheric and meteorological condition. The second one is the availability of land for expansion. Third one is the availability of utilities. Fourth one is the development of surrounding area. Fifth one is the economy of construction. Sixth one is the ground accessibility. Seventh one is the presence of other airports. Eighth one is regional plan. Ninth one is soil characteristics. 10th one is the surrounding obstructions. 11th one is the topography, and the 12th last one is your use of airport. So we need to study each one of them in detail, right? These are the important ones. There are many more, but these are the important ones. So let's get started with the first one. The first one is what? Your atmospheric and meteorological conditions. So normally what will happen? The presence of fog, haze and smoke will reduce the visibility, right? So if they are there, visibility we can't see properly. So it will reduce the visibility, and when there is poor visibility, this will in turn lower the traffic capacity of the aircraft. So movement of aircraft will become difficult. Basically that is the meaning. So normally what will happen? The fog will have tendency to settle down into areas where there is very little wind. Okay, so we have to make sure that there is proper wind availability so that the fog will not settle down. And moving on to the haze and the smoke, so this will be present in sites which are very near to your large industrial areas. So we have to make sure, suppose if the airport site is near the large industrial areas, we have to make sure that this haze and smoke is diverted and they doesn't come in the airport location. Or what we can do, we can choose a site which is very far from your industrial area. Okay, so that is the best thing we can do. So this is all about your atmospheric and meteorological condition, right? Moving on to the second one, it is the availability of land for expansion. Okay, so how much of land is available so that you can expand the airport in future is what is this point, right? Normally what will happen, the field of aviation is expanding day by day, right? Therefore it is very necessary for us to acquire the land beside, before in hand or in advance, or we should be able to acquire the sufficient real estate in the future for the expansion of the airport. Normally what will happen, as the volume of traffic increases, it will become necessary for us to lengthen the runway, to provide additional support facilities and to expand the terminal facilities. So we have to make sure that there is sufficient land available for us to expand the airport, or else it will become very difficult. Next one is the availability of utilities. Right, this is a third point. So whether it's a large airport or small airport, we will need certain utilities. What are those? Water, that is the water supply, right? Electric power, the telephone and the sewers, right? Without this, an airport cannot operate. So normally we will get all of these from the external sources, right? So external water supply given, connection should be given to the site of the airport. We have to check whether it is possible to give it or no. When comes to electric power, we either take it externally, or sometimes when external thing fails and in emergency, we will have to have a small power generation setup for running of the airport in a smooth manner, right? In the same way, for communication we need towers so that we can communicate via phone or whatever device they are, right? And the last one is the sewer. Suppose there is no sewer supply, we have to make sure that the sewer connection is done, and then the sewage disposal plant also must be there. So the fourth one is the development of the surrounding area. So the study of the type of development of the surrounding area is very important, because the airport activities, particularly from the standpoint of view of noise, right, are often quite objectionable to the neighborings of the airport. So the proximity of the airport site to the residential area, schools and hospitals should be avoided wherever possible. Okay. And suitable zoning rules should be imposed to control the use of land adjacent to the airport so that there is no conflict in the future. And in early days of air transport, the airports were located far away from the city, and the nuisance of noise was not a problem to the community. In fact, the audible evidence of arrival and departure of the planes were often a source of local pride. But with the introduction of your jet aircraft, the problems of noise has been aggravated and adverse community reaction. However, the manufacturer of the aircrafts are well aware of this problem, and all the efforts are made to reduce the noise to the minimum level consistent with the operating economy and safety of the aircraft. So this is about your development of the surrounding area. Moving on to fifth one. The fifth one is the economy of construction. So it is clear that if alternative sites are available and equally well suited, the site which is more economical should be selected, right? So the site having waterlogged area or reclaimed lands are very costly to develop from those of which are available on the natural ground. Even the uneven terrains require more or less grading than your flat or even terrains. So even the availability of local construction material may also have a significant impact on the cost of the project. So we have to take in consideration of all this and then decide on the location of the site for the airport, right? Moving on to the sixth one is the ground accessibility. So the location of the airport should be such that it results in the shortest ground access time. Okay, shortest ground access. This is especially true in case of the shorthand operation. So on the itinerary of the fact that with the introduction of your jet aircraft, the time has reduced. But in many cases, the ground access time exceeds the air time by a considerable margin. Also, it may be noted that the access to airport is required not only for air passengers but also to the other users of the airport, right? Such as the employees, visitors, spectators, etc. So we have to be very sure about the ground accessibility, either it is for the air passengers or the ground people. So the airline passenger is interested in overall door-to-door time than just in the portion in the air. If suppose you are traveling from one place to another in the aircraft, you are needing 1.5 hours, but to reach airport if you need 5 hours, what is the fun? It is not correct, right? So we have to make sure that we balance out the air time as well as the ground access time. So the location of airport at a considerable distance from the center of population may cause great inconvenience to the users. So also we have to make sure that all modes of transportation should be considered for an easy ground access to the airport, whether it is by road, by rail, by monorail, right? Whatever it is. Then the next one is the presence of other airports. So the airport should be located at a sufficient distance apart, and it is necessary to prevent the aircrafts which are mourning for a landing at one airport from intersecting with the movement of the aircraft on the other airport, right? Normally the minimum distance of the airport spacing will depend upon many factors. The first one is your volume and type of aircraft or air traffic, then the operating facilities. So if these precautions is not taken, then we will have to serve air traffic congestion due to limited airspace, and it will result in reduction of your air capacity. Okay, so according to standard guidelines, this is what is the minimum spacing in kilometers given. So for serving small general aviation aircraft under VFR, visual flight rule condition, the minimum spacing should be 3.2 kilometers. And for serving big aircrafts of say 2 piston engine under VFR condition, it is 6.4. Then for serving piston engine aircraft under IFR condition, it is 25.60. And the last one is serving the jet engine aircraft under IFR condition, it is 160 kilometers. So these are the minimum spacing standards. So this one was the 7th one. Now moving on to the 8th one, it is the regional plan. So the airport should be selected in such a way that it fits appropriately in the regional plan. So such an airport will form an integrated part of the national airport network. Right, moving on to the 9th one, it is the soil characteristics. So we have to make sure that we have a favorable soil characteristics in deciding the airport site, because what will happen if we have favorable characteristics, it will reduce the cost of grading, right? It will reduce the cost of the drainage system what we have to construct. Mainly are these two. So the area as far as possible should be self drainable. Okay, then the shape of the airport and the general pattern of the drainage system are determined by the topographical features of the site, right? So the site having very high water table may require costly sub drainages, right? Suppose if it is a valley site, then it will require less grading, but the possibility of a flood should be investigated in such type of sites. And if there is a elevated sites, what will happen? There will be a better drainage and better visibility. So we have to take in consideration all of this and choose a proper site. And the soil containing a reasonable amount of pervious material like your gravel and sand will be the best suitable binder in case of your airport site. So the best suitable is what? Pervious material like your gravel or sand. The worst one is what? The worst one is that when it becomes wet, suppose the soil is becoming wet and it becomes plastic in nature, that type of soil is very much not preferred. It is very inconvenience if we have such type of material. Example you can take is your black cotton soil, right? So this one was the 9th one. Moving on to the 10th one, it is the surrounding obstructions. So the airport site should be clear of the obstruction likely to interfere either your landing or your taking operations of the aircrafts. So if there are existing, it should be possible to clear them easily. Okay, for any future erection of the obstruction, the steps should be taken to implement height restriction in the surrounding area of your airport. Also, the zoning for height restriction should be initiated as soon as the site has been finalized or selected. See, these obstructions may be your natural obstruction like your trees or sloping grounds, or they may be your man-made obstruction like your buildings or your grid towers, etc. So the removal of obstructions surrounding the airport site is obviously very, very necessary to grant safety of the airport activities, right, relating to losing or gaining altitude gradually. Okay, moving on to the next one. The 11th one is the topography. So the topographical features like your ground contours, trees, streams, etc. should be studied when you are selecting your site for an airport. So a raised ground like a hilltop is usually considered to be an ideal. So raised ground or hill top is considered what? Is considered an ideal site for an airport. Why? Because you'll have better visibility, easy drainage, approaching and turning zones will be less obstructed, and it will have natural drainage system. Because of all this, a raised or a hilly top ground is the best suitable for coming up with an airport, right? And the last one, the 12th one, is the use of airport. So the airport site is decided also by the use of airport, that is whether we are using for your civil purpose or your military purpose. So in case of emergency like war, the civilian airports are taken over by the military, right? It is therefore very necessary to see that the airport site grants natural protection from possible air attacks during the war. Okay, so these are the main important factors that will have to consider when we are selecting an airport site. Okay, hope this lesson is clear to you. Thank you.